The zeros of the function h of x equals 6x squared plus 7x plus 2. All right, so to find the zeros of a function, you set it equal to 0. Okay, now this one, I can either complete the square, use the quadratic formula, or attempt to factor it. I will factor it. Okay, so I'm going to use the AC method, which means start off by multiplying a times c. A times c, 6 times 2, which is 12. Now, since I know that 6 times 2 is 12, I need to split this middle term into two terms. Okay, the numbers that I choose here have to be able to multiply together to equal 12, which again is the product of 6 and 2, but add together to give me 7. Okay, so I have to think through numbers here. 1 times 12, that adds up to 13. 2 times 6, that adds up to 8. 3 times 4, that adds up to 7. Okay, so 3 and 4 are the numbers that I need to use to split 7x into two terms, 3x plus 4x. Now we'd say that these two equations are the same. Okay, one has just had the terms combined, the other one has not. Okay, all right, so now that it's written into four terms, let's group together the first two terms and the last two terms. Group together the first two terms and the last two terms. Factor out any common factors in each parenthesis. So the first one, 6x squared plus 3x, both are divisible by 3x. Now to fill in the blank, you should think through. 3x times what would give me 6x squared? That'd be 2x. 3x times what would give me 3x? Well, that's my positive 1. Okay, now in the second set of parentheses, I have 4x plus 2. 4x and 2 are both divisible by 2. So I will factor out a positive 2. Two times what would give me 4x? That's 2x. 2 times what would give me a positive 2? Positive 1. Okay, so now my parentheses match each other, which means that they themselves are a common factor. So I'll write them together as 1. 2x plus 1. In the second set of parentheses, I'm going to put this outside stuff, this 3x plus 2. Okay, so now we have factored it. Okay, now remember, the goal is to find the zeros. So now that I've factored it, let's set each parenthesis individually equal to 0 and solve them. Two x plus 1 equals 0. Subtract 1 from both sides. So 2x equals 0 minus 1 is negative 1. Divide both sides by 2. Negative 1 half. Negative 1 half. That would be my first 0. Okay, let's do the same thing with 3x plus 2. Subtract 2 from both sides. 0 minus 2 is negative 2. Divide both sides by 3. I get negative 2/3. All right, so there we go. That was a little bit more complicated, but we were able to find the zeros by factoring the quadratic and then setting each individual part equal to 0.